Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the F1 Hub podcast. And in today's episode, I'm going to predict the top 10 of the Formula 1 2025 World Championship. So 2025, then let's go straight into this potentially blockbuster year in Formula 1. I feel this year could end up being the most disappointing F1 season ever because of all of the hype that it's got. Hamilton in Ferrari, Lando Norris fighting for his first world championship, can Verstappen retain his crown, can Leclerc strike back and demolish his teammates, can Oscar Piastri finally become a championship contender, or Mercedes back, can Alpine sneak a podium, anything could happen. So I'm going to predict the top 10 right here. In 10th position, it's quite hard in my opinion, but I am going for Pierre Gasly for Alpine. He finished 10th last year, finished 10th in 2023. So it's not really a surprise for a lot of people, but I do think Alpine are very quick. I think they're right there with the Williams, but I think what's going to prove the difference is that I think Carlos Sainz will get lucky at some point and probably beat Gasly by a couple of more points than you might expect. I think in the fight between Williams and Alpine, I think Williams are going to win pretty easily because Sainz is quite a good driver, potentially better than Gasly. I think, better than Gasly, whilst Albon's better than Doohan, so I think that would end the fight. Though, if Colapinto comes in and he got very close to Albon, and if he's in the Alpine, and I think potentially Alpine stands a chance, but it depends how good Doohan is. But that's the fight between Williams and Alpine. For Gasly, I just think he's going to finish 10th in the championship. I can see an Alpine podium potentially. I feel like we'll get a chaotic race. Alpine have took a podium in every season since 2020, apart from 2022, where they finished 4th in Japan as their best result. So overall, Alpine are in a good run of form every single year. They've got a top 4 finish since 2019. And even then, they could have took a podium if Hülkenberg not quite crashed in Germany. So I'm just thinking right now that Alpine, they're going to get a podium this year. They're going to finish 10th in the championship with Pierre Gasly. 9th position, Carlos Sainz, because of preseason testing. The reason why I didn't do this before preseason testing, because it was going to be pretty insane, really, because you have no clue whatsoever. So you're kind of predicting absolutely nothing because you have no clue. So at least here it's more of an educated guess, judging on preseason testing. I don't actually think Williams are going to be right there with the front teams. People are saying they're the dark horse. I wouldn't really say they are. I think they're just marginally better than Alpine. And even then, I think it'll vary track to track. So in Monza, Alpine will probably be pretty bad and Williams will be good. But then you go to a track like Monaco or Brazil, and I think Alpine would be the team to beat out of those two. So, I think Sainz is going to shine in some tracks. Like, he's pretty good in Monaco, but Charles Leclerc's the master of Monaco, so it's kind of been overshadowed. That Sainz is actually pretty good. He fought for a podium in 2024, finishing 3rd despite a puncture. Then in 2023, he was fighting for a podium before he spun off. And in 2022, he took 2nd. 2021, he finished in 2nd position. So Sainz is quite good in Monaco, so that'll be an entertaining fight. In 8th position, I'm going for Liam Lawson. I don't know what to say, Liam Lawson. I don't even know what to say. I don't know if he's going to be in the full year. We don't know whatsoever. I hope he is, but, we will see at the end of the year. I do think Lawson is going to outqualify Max Verstappen in 3 races this year. I know not many people do that because although Liam Lawson is in his first full season, Perez actually outqualified Verstappen last year. Like, Perez actually got there. It was like 1 race he beat him and 1 qualifying he beat him. And Baku Verstappen's worst circuit? Because Sergio Perez, that's his best circuit. And I wouldn't say obliterated Verstappen, but he was definitely by far the standout between the two. Perez nearly took the Red Bull to victory, whilst Verstappen got beaten by a Mercedes and probably would have been beaten by Hamilton if he not started from the pits. So I think it was a pretty poor drive for Max comparison to Perez. Yes, Perez crashed, but take the crash aside and then Perez not being delayed by Norris, Perez would have trumped Verstappen by quite a margin that weekend. Of course, Verstappen did that in the other 23 weekends of the year. Why does that matter? Well, Liam Lawson surely has the best track, and that best track, if it's Verstappen's worst circuit, you never know. But I think Lawson's going to have a good year, just some consistent point scoring, more like Perez's 2023. Inconsistent, but still getting good results. Then in 7th, I'm going for Andrea Kimi Antonelli. I actually think he's going to have one of those Piastri seasons where on some races he's beaten Russell and everyone thinks, oh my word, he's a future world champion. And then you have some weekends where he's just like Bottas from 2018 when he's having one of those average races in 5th whilst Hamilton's dominating out in front. That's like a typical potential season Antonelli could have. Then in 6th, I am going for George Russell. Yeah, I think George Russell, I don't know, I don't actually see him finishing 6th and 7th. I don't think that's where Mercedes is going to be. There's no way they'll be there for the 2nd year in a row. So, yeah. I don't know. Maybe Mercedes would be better. I think Mercedes will be better. I can potentially see them going and beating Verstappen in the Drivers' Championship. I think, although I've predicted Verstappen maybe not to be in 5th, I still think Mercedes might be faster than Red Bull. In fact, I'm pretty confident that they are. But I'm just thinking, oh my word, it's Verstappen in a Red Bull. So, yeah, I think Russell will potentially finish in the top 5, and I've put him in 6th. Oh, we're going to the top 5. This is pretty hard, of course, but in 5th, I'm going for Oscar Piastri. Now, I would have put Piastri in the top 3, but the problem with Piastri is I think he's quite overrated. If you know what I mean, 2024, like, how many weekends was he generally better than his teammate? Like, Monaco was one where he got 2nd in a wounded car, which was good. Hungary as well, but remember, he was dropping away from Norris in the end of the race, so maybe there was that. In Spa, well, Piastri just didn't make mistakes. Same with Baku. You know, Norris was a bit unlucky there. If Norris quits his mistakes in the race, I think you'll see Piastri getting obliterated by him, because there were some weekends in 2024 where Piastri was nowhere to Norris, but Norris's mistakes just let Piastri through. But then again, I think Piastri's going to have his best season to date, so I don't know. I think this is more judging off his 2024 pace than what he's probably going to be, but trust me, I do think Piastri's going to win 3 races this year and finish very close to the next drivers. In 4th position, I'm going for Max Verstappen. Now, I literally have it that I was going to put him in 3rd position, but I've just changed my mind right here at the last second. I just don't know what Red Bull are going to be like. It's so hard to predict. Everything changes at the Spanish Grand Prix. Everything in Formula 1 will change in terms of the teams. Maybe not drastically, maybe not like absolutely everything like I just said, but you know, I think the front pecking order, I think Red Bull will gain and actually be good, and I think Verstappen will be like 8th in the championship or 7th at the start of the year, like a long way off, and come back, and I think it'll be a fight for 3rd, but I don't know, will Verstappen even win a race this year? I know people are thinking, oh, of course Verstappen will win a race this year, it's not like it's a question or anything, but actually really, you know, I have some reservations. Well, the fact is, it's the fact that Red Bull looked really poor as like a car to drive in preseason testing. Verstappen lost it at turn 1 in Bahrain. That's not something he just does out with the blue. So in my opinion, I think Verstappen will have a very difficult year. In 3rd, I'm going for Lewis Hamilton. 2nd is going to be Charles Leclerc. And 1st is Lando Norris. That is my prediction for the top 10 in the World Championship. I've sped through the last 3 because they're kind of the ones you would predict to be there. I think Hamilton's going to be quite a bit behind Leclerc, but I think he'll have an inconsistent year, make some mistakes, but then there'll be weekends you'll see the old Lewis Hamilton, and there'll be weekends where he's nowhere. But I think he'll be quite consistent enough to finish 3rd, and it'll be more like a Kimi 2018, whilst Vettel's fighting for the championship against Hamilton, it's the other way around. So thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time on F1 Hub.